Defense kind of ruled the day there early.
Absolutely, they really came out and with something to prove, and I really enjoyed watching the way they handled themselves on the field. They pursued to the ball very well, and they wrapped up and tackled well, and we kind of scaled back some of the things that we were asking them to do. We certainly didn't unveil all the things that we do in our package defensively, but great leadership, and they really came out, and I was really pleased with that side of the football in the first half.
Was it a credit to the defense, or did the offense maybe not be as effective as you wanted?
Well, I'm always, I'm gonna look at everything very carefully. I think there's a little bit of both. There's times that it's not pretty and perfect, but as I tell our players, it needs to be complete. We need to play 4 quarters of football. Sometimes maybe a defense comes out and your offense is not moving the chains as much as you'd like, but somewhere along the way, somebody comes up with a big play and a big moment in the game, and you just keep you keep at it, and hope that after 4 quarters you come out with a big W. And that's the great thing about a spring game. We're 1-0.
Last year at this time, didn't know, at least publicly, who the starting quarterback was. Has Joe really solidified that spot?
Yeah, we've taken full account of all the work done, by Joe last year, this offseason, all 15 practices, and Joe's going to have an opportunity to continue being that number 1 guy, taking the first team reps. But also we need to understand how important Alex Zordich is in our system, in our offense, in our program, and continue developing him also. I think both of them you saw out there today, we're going to win with both of them, and they're both very, very important to this football team.
Where did Joe make the most strides this spring?
I think just, feeling more comfortable, with the system, the signals, his reads, his keys, making good decisions. He's very accurate with his throws, and, basically we try to allow both Joe and Alex to run the offense and manage it with the same cast of guys, the offensive line, the first team receivers. So we've taken account every snap, what they did every single play, and we felt that Joe's got a slight edge at this point, and that's where we're going to continue with our depth and who gets that first team rep.
Alex seemed to be more accurate today with the passes.
Well, that's a great sign. That's something that I think we all have to consider. And that's why he's a great competitor. I couldn't be more proud of his leadership and his maturity and understanding. Where he's at in terms of his development, but he's not going away. I mean, he knows that this is an opportunity for him to continue to get better, and he's going to continue doing that.
You think,
Jeff, Joe's 2 touchdown throws were both sort of technique, accurate, placement of the ball kind of thing. Is that sort of what he brings to your team as a quarterback, those kinds of quarterbacking skills?
Yeah, he's got a real nice touch to his throws. He's very accurate, and he knows the right trajectory of the throws that he needs to make under those conditions. And today was not an ideal throwing day. We know those winds were howling, but I thought he did a nice job staying in the pocket, eluding a little bit of the pass rush, and then being able to capitalize, on a couple of his throws. I tell you, Nuts made a great play, early in that first half. Just getting good leverage on the defender, and then that touchdown to Weiser. I mean, that was a great throw, and just nice to see those young players really emerging. Guys like Joe, guys like Weiser. We've seen Alex Nuts because he can make those plays. But I like the way we handled ourselves in all those situations. Joe did a great job in capitalizing for us on that blue team.
After a month of practice here, is there anything you've kind of learned about your team at this point?
Leadership. I think there's more guys that are really providing that, both on and off the field. I really like where we are with our senior class. This morning we had a great turnout in our Champions Breakfast that saw us unveil our 1958 Lambert Cup Scholarship Award recipient. Kobe Way won that, and he provided great leadership out there today, and I've seen that with him all winter conditioning and all spring ball long. Khalil and Bo and Alex Nuts and when you think about Zordich and Carlson and so on and so forth, we had less impact of our team with graduation, so there's more guys returning that have a lot more experience, and we had no coaching changes. So there's a lot more continuity and consistency, and everyone knows their role, and they're being very responsible in terms of how to go about their business. Look, there's one thing in common all great teams have and great players is they're never satisfied, and we're not satisfied at this point. We need to get out there and ready to play, and 12-game schedule is going to certainly take a lot of effort and a lot of determination out of this ball club, but I think they're ready for the task.
You had a lot of younger guys that during practice you're talking about putting them in. Mason Schreck and Matt Wise are two of those. Also, Blake Bean, and they contribute a lot today. So, would you like out what you saw them today?
Well, they took advantage of their opportunity. We're going to play guys out there, but at the same time, they have to really capitalize on their moment and their chance to get out there and really prove. And we saw what Mason Schreck can do. I mean, he's a big target, did a great job. Weiser, same thing. I love the way Bean played today. Very active, very alert, very into the game. Sometimes spring games or spring practices, they're not at their highest level of alertness and focus, which is something that I've stressed very heavily on this football team. And I like where Blake is, and he adds another dimension to our defense, just that mental and physical toughness. And I saw that today. You saw Jordan Johnson, run the ball and do some things. Anthony Taylor, somebody who didn't even play last year because of overcoming his injury, and you saw him make some moves. Devin Campbell. I mean, so we have a lot of young players that really are eager to get in there and capitalize on their opportunity, and we saw that today.
Talk a little bit more about Jordan Johnson, and has he been doing this all spring for you?
Jordan's learning. It's not an easy transition. He was a great high school player, and we know that. That's why we recruited him and signed him here. But also, it's taking that next step and learning, how the game is played at this level and little detail things. And Matt Simon, my running back coach, does a great job really bringing out that in his players. And I see that, and Jordan's been benefiting from it. But Jordan's a great player, and we certainly expect him to continue growing and being a great contributor to this program. Whether he's carrying the ball, blocking, pass receiving, or on special teams, there's a lot of opportunities for kids to make their mark and help this team win.
Has he been doing much, or what has he been doing with special teams?
Well, I mean, he's in a number of different roles and capacities, in terms of being a returner, being a guy who's blocking, so on and so forth. So, at this point, we're still looking for him to really step in and really hone into maybe a couple special teams roles that we can really look at him and be out there and being a significant contributor in special teams, not just on the offensive side, but in terms of that role.
Last year opened up with a top 5 team in Georgia, and then you might get a number 1 this year in Ohio State. How exciting are those kind of matchups?
Well, when you're playing against the best, you better be ready to go because, they're going to be bringing some of the best talent, best schemes, best coaching that you'll ever face. And we saw that down in Georgia. Our kids really stepped up to the challenge, being in 90-degree temperature and 90% humidity. That was tough conditions. And I tell you, Mark Rick said it best. You kids came down here, and there's not a lot of teams that can come down here from the North Country and really sustain that high level of energy and effort for 4 quarters. And I'm going to fully anticipate that being the same case for us down the Horseshoe. Different year, different team, different opponent, but we know we're going to have our hands full, and we're going to have to be really, really locked in. And then going down to Baylor, there's another big challenge for us. So, but that's what it's all about, playing against the best competition in the country and getting that national exposure.
Coach, you had some muck punts in the first half. What do you attribute that to?
Tyler Grassman kicking the ball extremely high. Tyler did a great job today. I was as impressed with Tyler Grassman, our punter, as I did anybody on that field today. And we just misjudged a couple from that standpoint. That certainly put us on the board with the blue team because of the mishandled punt. But we need to do a good job of judging, whether we can field that ball or not. Don't be making attempts at catching a ball when you're not in good position. Let it bounce, let it happen, and we'll live to play another down because it's our possession. We lost it at that moment. So those are the little things that we're going to continue coaching up with this team, so we're a smarter team, and we can make the right decisions in critical moments in a game.